Howdy-o, everyone! Lost City here. We're back in action for more Force of Will Attraction. That's right, we still have more to cover for Winds of the Ominous Moon set. So, what's left to cover? We got all the colors so far: light, green, black, blue, another color, that red. Red, I forgot red. Got all those little things. So far, from what we've seen and everything, it seems that Fire's finally started to get some really good cards. Light is dominating this set entirely. Green still got some good cards, and so does Blue. But aside from that, they are the two weaker ones of the bunch going on here, with Black being kind of right in the middle with a lot of really awesome cards, but the majority of the cards that they do have are kind of like bleh to begin with. But yeah, we're getting a really good construction thing for this set, and probably the coolest thing about it is that we also have cards in between the two. We got cards that mix together. So we're gonna look at the cards that are here that have more than one will for the set. So let's see how powerful they are exactly. So the first card we have here is called a Heroic Epic for the 1000th Night. So this is 3 cost will, 1 fire, 1 dark, and 1 just other, just like whatever chant. It's a chant spell. You may put a resonator from your hand into the field. At the next end of turn, return that card to its owner's hand. This is certainly a card that seems like it wouldn't be the best thing in the world, but when you actually think about it, you could get some big buff resonators out there, and you give them swiftness along with various other cards, like with a Time Flame Horse and a Sprinting Flame Horse, and various other cards that actually give resonator swiftness. On top of that, they also have various effects that the bigger ones do have, so we can also do that too. And honestly, it could combo with a lot of dreadful things. So pairing this together with something like the Ragnarok of the Dragon or Welsler could really help with this card's potential and the sheer devastation of it all. And that's just naming the 2 cards from this set in particular. So you're gonna have to look back a little bit to see what cards you can actually do crazy stuff with this. But for the most part, this is very much a card that could seek combos, and you can actually make it do something that it may not have wanted to do effectively enough. It's pretty much just a tool set for a combo, and that's what I love the most about this. Really, just a decent little combo card. Oh dear lord, when will they learn Force of Will? When will you learn? Atarsia, City of Verdant Greece? Variant Green, that's what it is, Variant Green. Yeah, this card is broken. This is a broken card, and frankly should never have been printed. It's too good for what it does, and I hate it. But I'm gonna use it, and everybody else that gets it, I suggest using it too. And Fair is also going to use this card, and he's going to push the top 8 yet again, and just wreck everybody with this card. Yeah, there's going to be addition hate, there's going to be a bunch of other things, but consider the following. It's an addition, it's 2 cost, 1 leaf, 1 fire, not too hard to get, just energize when you get that fire stone or fire leaf stone, and then tap it, produce a fire or leaf. If you spend this will to play a resonator, it gains swiftness as it enters the field until end of turn. Why? Why would you do this? Fire Green is already a very aggro set, and it has various of the means that it needs to get mana will running, and then you give it Sacred Elf too. So turn 1, energize into this. Tap it to go into Sacred Elf. Tap Sacred Elf to get into another Sacred Elf. Suddenly you're on the board with 4 mana. It is ridiculous. What just happened there? In comparison to the opponent's 1. It is insanely stupid, this card, and frankly should never have existed. Or if it did exist, you give it a 1 extra will or something. You make it so it's not as worth it. But no, Force of Will, you decide to go ahead and do this. Same thing with Ruined Story, same thing with this card. It is broken as all heck. And I'm really surprised that people don't talk about this card, because it's just this overwhelming little situation where it will see play. It is just an easy card to play with, and it doesn't require a lot of setup, and it's so mean. God, when will they learn? Those fools! Beyond the threshold of time. Ooh, this is a good one. At least, you know, we got a leaf blue, 1 costing chant. Draw a card, put the top card of your stone deck into the field. Great card for IU, great card for any kind of mana ramp with blue and green. Good card for Shayla. Now that I think about it, Shayla's gonna really love this card too. Any Shayla control deck will love to see this card happen, and on top of that, you got all these neat little factors going on with this card. And the very fact that it's the champ means that you can get it back and put it into your hand and just go, I'm gonna do this again. In comparison to something like the green Magic Crest of Wind, which is this addition, so it's harder to actually get back into your hand. But this is just kind of one of those cards that's like, it doesn't seem all that broken. It's not all that broken, but it could really devastate the opponent just by simply being able to replace itself and putting the top stone of your magic deck, the top stone in your stone field thingy majigger. I forget what it's called because I keep wanting to say mana, and I know it's not mana. There you go, something like that. Point being, it's mana ramp, and mana ramp in Force of Will is always powerful. Like, it just is. If it's 3 cost, it doesn't matter. If it's 4 cost, kind of matters. But aside from that, you're good. As long as it brings more will, you're good. And this card is no exception by all means. Not as broken as the last card, but it's still really powerful. Inheritor of the Stars, Gil Lapis, 4 cost, dark green, 1000 attack. Why? Resonator, Vampire, Human, Guardian. Why? Flying, Barrier. Why? This card cannot be cancelled if your J-Roller is Gil or Gil the Gifted Conjurer. Why? At the beginning of your main phase, put a mystery counter on your J-Roller. What? Remove an element in your graveyard from the game. Produce any will. Put a 100 counter on this card. Place a ability only once per turn. Why does it do so many things? Again, this is Force of Will going, hey, we could add effects to things, right? Let's add an effect. But then they're like, you know what? Let's add another effect. It doesn't feel that powerful. All these individually are not that bad, but they're that bad together. 2 of these things together is bad enough. 3 makes it broken. 4 makes it insane. This is one of the best cards in this set, and it's a Resonator. And you can play it with Gil, weirdly enough. You can play it with Reiya, weirdly enough. It doesn't make a lot of sense why they're trying to get this card out there and just kind of support Gil the way they are. So in other words, this card just doesn't really have a home to properly go to, because Reiya can't really use it fully and Gil can't use it fully to any degree, but at the same time, it's too juicy of a card for either of them to not use it. So while it still has that overwhelming power, we're just thankful it doesn't have a rightful home. So that's kind of the only thing that's like really set this to like, okay, it should be fine. But that doesn't mean it's not a broken card. Giving something barrier and flying is just too stupid, honestly. And it being a 4 cost is not a hard sell, honestly. You just have 2 of these in your deck and you just boom, right there, 4th turn. Comes out to play, just stays there forever. And it's just kind of stupid, honestly. But yeah, not the worst card within this set, but god dang it, dude, does it go exponentially close to just how good it is. Invitation to Valhalla. I don't know why they made this card. For Tree, it's a water, darkness, will. Search your hand, deck, and or graveyard for up to 4 cards, remove them from the game. You search your deck, shuffle it. That's it. You mill yourself to do something. I don't know what. I know there's various cards that you could get from Wanderer, but it's kind of weird that we have Wanderer support in this set for kind of no reason. There's no real cards that actually want to combo with it, so I just have to ask why? Why was this card made necessarily? Like, if someone could point it to me, I'll be glad to take it. But aside from that, I only see Wanderer shenanigans with this card. Everything else is just kind of like a bless sort of situation. With Tree, I'd rather just get it removed via me milling it out in comparison. So, Again, I had to ask, who is this for? What's the combo? I don't know, but it's a perplexing card at the very least, and at most, it's gimmicky as heck, as far as I can tell. So yeah, a card. Journey to the Future. It's light, darkness, draw 2 cards chant, and then if your J-Ruler is Reiya, you get to gain 100 life for each card in hand. That's kind of cool, but it's honestly just not enough. Like, it's just not enough to want to play this card. The only reason why you would play this card is because Reiya's light dark for some reason. I'm not saying that Reiya can't be light dark, it's just more of the matter of, if you want Reiya to be anything else, that's fine, but running light dark just for this card is not worth it. By all means, it's just not. So honestly, this card just doesn't have a home. Admittedly, it is a kind of okay blood spray, but I rather just run blood spray. In all honesty, that 300 damage isn't nearly as bad in comparison to being able to maybe killing a resonator, 1 cost or less, as just like a nifty little thing. A nifty little thing. But that's really what it comes down to, honestly. But if you're running a Dark Light Reiya deck, by all means use it. There's no reason not to. Just don't force yourself to, you know? Okay card. Reincarnation of the Soul. It's a light green card with a chant spirit magic, so we got some guild going on here. Shuffle up to 3 target non-magic stone cards from the single removed area from this owner's deck. Draw a card. Pretty freaking nifty. In any guild deck that wants to like mill itself overwhelmingly, I would say definitely run this card. For something like Tree, I would definitely say run this card if you're running that particular amount in Tree. But overall, it's just kind of a gimmicky sort of feeling more than anything else. And I could understand you wanting to sort of run this, but at the same time, there are better cards that do get from the removed area. Which, you know, honestly, to me, when you say get a single card from a removed area, it feels kind of like you're cheating the whole entire removed from the game situation. But, you know, whatever. That's a conversation for another time. My point being, it feels like a gimmicky situation more than it feels like a card that could be comboed into, especially considering that you're shuffling just 3 stones in there, and then you're just drawing the card. You're not getting one of the stones, or one of the cards themselves, but it can be used. It's not useless card. It's just doesn't really have a lot of uses, and any uses that it does have, there are other cards that are just better. Just when it comes down to it, they're just better right now. So maybe you'll see play sometime, maybe you won't. Restoration, Light Fire. Ooh. This is a good card for Panda. Search your deck for a Resonator or Addition and reel it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If the total cost is 2 or less and your J-Ruler is Targus, you may play it without paying its cost instead of putting it into your hand. Search your deck for a Panda and you get to put it into play for free. Search your deck for an Addition, put it into play for free. That is so stupid. It is a Kaguya's Moonbeam with slightly less amount to pay for a particular ruler. It's kind of ridiculous what you could do with this card. On top of that, Panda has one of the best searching mechanics in the entire game. I will say that if you ever see the Shining Shimmers Rainbow Thingamajigger, the 1 cost, look at the top whatever cards of your deck with as many gems as you have, that could get pretty bad pretty fast. So being able to also look for a Panda of any sort, mainly Gem Mallet Panda, is kind of insane, and it helps a lot of Panda decks become even bigger decks than what they already are, and they help search it out to like a really good degree here. So it's such a good card for Panda. It's such a bloody good card, and it just works so bloody well. It makes me kind of want to run Panda now, but my friends kind of got that whole entire set together, and for the most part, I never see myself running Panda Red, Light Red, but I know it's out there, and largely you have a pretty good shot at doing a Rush Panda deck like this. So, in all honesty, there's really not a reason not to run this, especially considering that if you have Gem Mount Panda, you could also just pay for the fire with your fire gem in comparison. So, like, honestly, really good stuff. Like, really good stuff. If you're playing Panda, there's not a reason not to run it. It's very hard to, and in all honesty, it's one of the best searches in the entire game, to the point where even I want to use it, which is saying a lot. Really good card. Very niche, very good. The Kingdom of Diversity Light Palace. This is a card I'm hyped for. It's a light blue and it's an addition. It is a card that could actually, factually, be used to make a full deck without really relying on a ruler in particular. In other words, it's a good card for 0. But the better point being here, Resonators you control gain +100/+100 for each different race among all Resonators you control. That means if they had 2, 3, or whatever amount of races, it all contributes to this within one card. Something like Gil Lapis is looking a whole lot better now just with this card in mind. That means you have to run a 4-wheel deck at most, and nah, that's not going to happen. Regardless, it still has an additional effect on top of that. Resonators you control gain flying, swiftness, first strike, precision, barrier, and or drain as long as you control a J-Roller with that ability. Are you kidding me? Ayu could use this card. Ayu could use this card and be like, guess what? Everybody got flying, first strike, pierce, precision on themselves. Let's all go. On top of that, they're all powered up to a tremendous amount. So of course you're not going to really use it for Ayu because you only get one of these, but in any other deck you can use all 4 of them, which makes this pretty insane, and it's definitely a deck idea that I'm already toying with. I already got cards for it and I want to show you all right away, but at the same time, the cards that I will have for it will also get out of the mix within 2 months. So I'm just like kind of pondering over how well it'll go, whether or not I'll be able to do the thing. But for the most part, you will see a deck from me with this card. I'm going to tell you that much right now. I feel like it will work wonders in comparison, and it's definitely a card I think we're going to be seeing pop up at least every now and again. It's definitely more of a funsy deck. I don't think it's as serious as various other decks can be. But with the way that live game is going and whatnot, we'll definitely are able to see longer games, and games like this will require cards like this that just wreck the whole competition. Very happy to see this card, very excited. The Path We Part. Oh, look at that. Shayla and Kirik banged and started saying goodbye to each other. It was a mutual thing. You know, they just... That's it. They hit it and quit it. Now, interesting thing about this card is that if your J-Ruler is either Kirik or your J-Ruler is either Shayla, you don't have to pay for the will that you don't rep. So effectively enough, Kirik plays 1 fire will for this, and Shayla plays 1 blue will for this. So this would go into mono blue decks, this would go mono red decks. Very weird for a shared will card, but to be fair, those two, they're you know. Regardless, choose one. This card deals 600 damage to target J Resonator, or return target Resonator to its owner's hand. Definitely a mean card for Shayla to a wide degree. Shayla doesn't have any burn proper, so having a 600 damage for a burn is ridiculous. On top of the fact that she could actually get it back, on top of the fact that she could shovel it back into her deck, on top of the fact that she also still has the whole entire return target resonator to its owner's hand situation going on there. So it works on all fronts for Shayla entirely. If you're running Shayla, you should run this card. Now Kirik, on the other hand, I feel gets the lesser end of the deal here. Kirik, while he does love to aggro a lot, his aggroing is far different in comparison. So if that 600 damage was to opponent, there'd be more of a reason to run this card over everything else. But for the most part, Kirik may want to use some of his battle arts in comparison, simply for the fact that he could search out for it. But overall, this is a really good card for either ruler in comparison. And by all means, if we don't see this card being run by either side, it's kind of really sad. Regardless, I'm going to be putting in my deck. It makes my deck incredibly stronger, and it effectively makes Shayla's return completely and utterly useless. Ethereal Wind Magic Stone. Special Magic Stone just produced green. Banish this card, put Aurora from your removed area into your hand. I could definitely see this card going into various decks that want to win particularly fast, but for the most part, I don't see a lot of people wanting to use this unless they have a particular aura in mind. Mainly the recover your J ruler bit as a ruler, but even then this does not produce light, so it's kind of counterplay towards that whole entire situation, but it can work really, really well for it. Regardless, it's only going to work in Aurora decks. It only works with Aurora decks. You're only going to use it for Aurora decks, and even then, it might be better just to have more consistency in comparison. Really wish this was a light leaf or a leaf, any color for Aurora maybe, or just could only produce for Aurora magic or something like that. That would have been nice too. Still, it's a nice little card that can potentially combo into things, but not a super great card. Magic Stone of Time. Now this card in particular actually does help a whole bunch, and you're going to see in a lot of mono water decks and a lot of Kaguya decks, because Kaguya is going to use that Time Stone more than anything else, and mono water decks just have extra special Magic Stone to actually make you want to shuffle their Magic Stone deck. And by that I mean Shayla. So yeah, cool. Shayla gets to also use Time Will. It would have really helped a lot more if Time Will was able to be reduced on various other stones, but yeah, not the case. Still, it does have its uses, but it's very niche, can only be run in water for the most part, so it's okay for what it does. So overall, I have to say that a lot of these new combined will cards are extremely powerful, and some of the best in the entire set to begin with very few cards having very little niche play and or way to go about things in terms of combos. They're kind of super insane. I expect one or two of these cards to be rightly banned. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like for real. They really probably should be banned. Aside from that, Winds of the Ominous Moon is looking to be a very, very good set. I hope it sees a lot of play within the whole entire cluster, and it's really going to help balance out all the wills in comparison, all the will elements to work with that. So thank you all so much for watching my review set of Winds of the Ominous Moon. We only have one more thing to go with for the J Rulers, and that will be it. If you like this video, please share it if you can, and if you could, please gently press that like button. Thank you all for watching. Sayonara. Bye-bye.